and welcome to tonight's episode of Hey Sister. Hey Sister, how you doing?
Hey, sister. It's just another day. We're still counting votes for this fraudulent recount in Arizona.
On day number, what is it? How many days we into this year?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, again, you have a company called Cyber Ninjas. I already got questions.
I got questions and we don't have answers, but because the insanity continues.
Yep.
If you are tuning in to Hey Sister tonight, we want to thank you for watching. We want you to like, follow, share, subscribe to Hey Sister. Share this episode with your friends and family. We also want you to join the conversation in the comments. That's where all the action happens. It's here in the comments section. In typical Hey Sister fashion, we're going to talk about hot topics, but as you know, at the top of each month, what we do is that's all we talk about. We have an evening full of hot topics. And so if you have a hot topic that you want us to talk about tonight, or a hot take you want us to give our opinion on to you, drop it in the comments so we can know what to bring to the stage for you. We have some hot topics certainly that we want to get into tonight.
Yes.
But we want to include you in the conversation as well. So if you're tuning in out there, let us know where you're tuning in from, and let's dive into the hot topics. So one of the hottest topics of the week has been about young tennis phenom Naomi Osaka, who withdrew from the French Open. She had stated prior to that, she really is uncomfortable with the press and doing the press conferences. And I guess World Tennis Association, the folks at what it is, Roland Garros, whatever, however you pronounce it, over there in France, they say, hey, if you don't do it, if you don't do the press, which is required as a part of, being a part of these competitions, then you will not be able to participate. And she said, okay. Chunked up the deuces and said, I'm not participating this year. I deal with anxiety. I deal with a lot of, depression, especially when it comes around facing the press. A lot of this started back, I think it was in 2018. That was the year that she beat Serena Williams, who was really her idol. The year she beat Serena Williams at the US Open, and the crowd openly booed her as a teenager or a young 20-something. So it's no secret that the press can be, they will lift you up to tear you down. And when we don't know all of the struggles that people have just to be able to perform at that level, just to be able to bring their gift and talent to the world, to demand, that's the thing, demand that I got to talk to the press. Mm-hmm. It was a stretch for me in the first place. Now, I'm going to tell you, sister, my opinion, my feeling was, because I posted about it, my random thoughts and ruminations, I think she should just did a Marshawn Lynch on. Like, I'm going to sit here with my earbuds on, because I ain't even hearing y'all. I'm not even listening. I'm just going to sit here. Because if I'm required to show up, that's how I choose to show up. And I'm going to show up in that way and let you deal with it. Because I'm not answering no question. I love Venus's response, which, I was like, that's big sister fashion. Well, I already know anybody asking me questions can't hold a candle to me anyway. So you can ask what you want to ask. How about that? But really, what do you think about the WTA and these major tournaments, or even all sports, right? Whether it's basketball, football, golf, requiring their athletes who participate in these competitions to speak to the press?
Well, to be honest, many of us go to jobs every day that have rules and requirements that we don't necessarily like or agree with. And so I'm not tripping off of them having the requirement. I'm also not tripping on her deciding, well, I'm not participating today because I have to do what's best for me. I don't want to be a distraction. Maybe my timing is not the best, but this doesn't work for me. And I think we all have the right to do that in our day-to-day jobs too, you know. And with everything comes consequences. And at the end of the day, the question is, are you willing to live with the consequences? And obviously she's okay living with the consequences. And I ain't mad at it, because there are days when I have meetings that are on my schedule and I have to ask myself, if I go to this meeting and I act a complete fool because these people have gotten on my last good nerve, is that going to be beneficial for anyone involved here? Or can I just say, hey, y'all, I'm not going to make it to the meeting today, and live with whatever those consequences are? So I think at the end of the day, we all have jobs that tell us we have to do this, we can't do that, what have you. And at some point, we all have to determine what's best for us and our well-being. And if it's not aligned with the quote unquote rules, then hey, we'll live with the consequences. So in young Naomi's case, I say kudos to her for choosing herself over the rules and the requirements.
All right. Well, Jody said, hi, I'm just here so I don't get fired. That's how Marshawn was like, I'm just here so I don't get fired, you know?
Yeah, but even that, you know, because there is no winning, right? Because even when Marshawn did that, there was so much criticism. I mean, I was laughing because I love Marshawn Lynch, but you know, but he even got criticized for that, even though it was apparent why he was doing it. He said specifically, I am only here because y'all telling me these are the rules, and y'all mad because someone like me, who y'all perceive to be ignorant or you perceive to be beneath you, is now beating you at your own game, and you mad about it. Mm-hmm. So there isn't going to be a way to win. So that's why it's like, just choose yourself and do whatever works for you. Boom.
Well, Denise says, abso-damn-lutely. I would just show up, but that's the devil in me. You know, again, well, what do you think? So this is another take on the situation, you know, because she didn't have quite I said what I said moment, right? Because of course she's young, she's in her 20s. Because the fact that she took that step further. Now I applaud her, because May was Mental Health Awareness Month. I applaud her for taking that step further and explaining that, hey, I'm dealing with mental health issues. I deal with depression off and on. I deal with anxiety off and on. And it can overwhelm me. And we saw her when she won. When she won, she was not crying out of joy. She was crying out of sadness. And it was like, girl, we need her to celebrate. We want to celebrate and lift you up. But crying out of sadness and not knowing how to manage and deal with all
it's
of
the 5:52. Woke up like this. Migraine medicine.
Sorry, I guess one of these things in the background is playing. I don't know. I'm sorry. I had a lot of stuff open.
It was like, who said what?
It was Serena. She was telling us about her medication.
Was talking about her medication. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, but what is your take on the fact that she took the step and went so far? Because we don't have to disclose any medical condition that we're dealing with. And why is this the expectation of people?
Right. No, she didn't. She didn't have to disclose that at all. My thought is that, you know, I've seen her, she's posted quite a lot lately, especially in light of these killings of unarmed Black men and women, you know, George Floyd's death and what have you. So she's been very vocal in that way. And so if you can just, I mean, of course you can imagine, we are all in one way or another dealing with the trauma, the repeated trauma
Mhm.
that we're witnessing and experiencing on a day-to-day basis, from racism to sexism to all the isms, and then all the other foolery that's on top of it. And she's experiencing all of that, and she's under this massive spotlight because she is a great tennis player. I imagine that that is extremely challenging for her. So I applaud her for speaking out on it, to say, y'all, yo, I deal with I'm dealing with the exact same trauma that you all are dealing with too, but you get to go home and nobody has to know how you cope with it.
Right.
My every move is scrutinized, and I'm being looked at under a microscope. So maybe she felt like speaking out about it could help somebody else. But yeah, she didn't owe that to anybody. And the fact that she did it, in my opinion, just shows that she is a phenomenal young woman who
Phenomenally.
she's a phenomenal young woman who happens to be a great tennis player, but she's still not removed from all the same stuff that we deal with on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Well, Sister Naomi, if you ever come across this video, we say keep living your best life. Keep choosing you first before anyone else, anything else, or any job you're asked to perform. Because long after all those things end, you have to live with yourself. And in the words of Marshawn Lynch, take care of your mentals.
Yes.
All right. Well, our next hot topic for this evening, like we said, hey, y'all, if you're out there, absolutely, she is human. She deserves to be human. And I don't know why the WTA and the other major tournaments did not offer her a human option as a response of accommodation.
So you know why they didn't? Because this is not about humanity. This is about making money. And
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying that, the way the thing works is on your job, when you ask for accommodations because of a health issue, they supposed to give you accommodations. We got an HR specialist on the line. She can let us know.
All jobs don't give accommodations. I mean, some jobs will tell you if you need to take some days off, that's fine. You can take them days off, but you may be unemployed after it's all said and done. So, but you did mention earlier, and you didn't say it here, about the Calm app. And so, did you want to?
Yeah, let me go find that so I could drop that actually in here for you all to read this article, because I think it's absolutely fantastic. So we yesterday for my virtual brunch, we had we talked about the Calm app, and the Calm app actually has offered to pay her fines, as well as match funds for charitable donation, and match any future fines with charitable donations. So if she gets fined at at the US Open or any of the tournaments that come up later this year, that they will match those fines. So shout out to the Calm app. Y'all could read the article there on Black America Web. I think it's a fascinating and a really a great show of a corporate responsibility, and really that they are about the business of what their app is all about. So
well, and so I said that because that's what the WTA's response should have been, right? But it wasn't, and it's no surprise, because just like every other sports governing body, they are about the money. They are not about the athlete or the human being. That should have been their response, but it wasn't. And again, these are the same folks that a few years ago didn't Serena them have to, have some conversations about equal pay and things of that nature.
Well, no, especially the French Open is the one who, Serena wanted to wear the cat suit, and she wanted to wear the cat suit because it's really like compression because she has the blood clotting issue, and it was that's when she was returning to competition after having had her baby. Right. And so they were like, no, you can't play in no cat suit. Now, eventually they relented because, of course, if she don't show up, the money definitely won't reside at their tournament, right? So, again, Jaime said she's human. I think that all of us are human, and these organizations have to get with it and start responding in a way that supports humanity and not further perpetuates superiority, misogyny, racism, casteism, all of that foolishness.
Right. No, I agree, but
so Rosalind said they just want her to shut up and do her job. And Cynthia says here, I'm just sick of the double standard with Black athletes. Child, we got double, triple, and quadruple standards. It changes all the time. You're tuned in right now to Hey Sister. We are live on this Sunday, the first Sunday of each month. It's when we bring you an evening full of hot topics. Next hot topic we're going to transition to right now. And I'm going to tell y'all in the words of Mystical, danger. Listen, danger. They is hacking everything. The Russians is hacking everything. Y'all better beware. So a few months ago, there was a hack on a major pipeline that supplies half the gasoline to the East Coast. And last week, there was a hack on a meat processing plant. There's ransomware. Now, the Colonial Gas Line, whatever the official name of their pipeline, they went ahead, they paid the ransom. It's a ransomware attack. Right. They paid the ransom. They paid it out in Bitcoins. I want to invest in some Bitcoins. Know about these coins, the Doja coin, and all of these things that's happening out here because clearly nefarious happenings is happening out there, and that's how nefarious things is happening to people making money. But these hacks are a threat to our infrastructure. They're a threat to our livelihood. They're a threat to our lifeline in this country. Honey, y'all better beware. And if you are a small business owner out there, like I am, I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, it's time. I got to bring my girl in. We got to do a whole security overhaul protocol and have everything in place because they keep upping the damn game. You laughing at me, but I'm serious over here.
I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at Rosalind because I agree with her point.
Why?
Nobody want to hack Sally Mae.
Why they not hacking Sally Mae and Wells Fargo and clearing out these mortgages for people? If y'all want to do something, clear out some of these mortgages. How about that? How about clear them student loans out? How about send some children to college for free? If y'all want to hack something, it's all, but again, hacking is all about evil, dark web, nefarious acts, and what have you, but y'all ain't doing what? Warning before the storm, prepping for something bigger. I think so too, Cynthia. I think these are the canary in the coal mines. These are just they testing operations. We already know what they did tried to do with elections.
What they did to the elections. Because they did it in 2016 and they were going to do more in 2020. Listen, here's the thing. Christina don't know a lot about too much, but she know one or two things about one or two things. And what I know for sure is after the man went through the airport and tried to, the shoe bomber, right? Y'all remember him, right? He went through the airport and tried to mess up the situation with the shoes. And then after that, we now got to take off our shoes unless you got clear and TSA pre and all them other things, right? Mm-hmm. But for that long period of time there, we could no longer wear shoes through the metal detectors. We can't bring no more water, all of these things because of these different people who are going through the airport trying these new things, right? After that happened, Christina said that bioterrorism is next because it only made sense. You know, yes, we saw what happened on 9/11. That was 2001, right?
20 years this year.
20 years ago this year. And in 20 years, we still taking off our, well, I know the shoe bomber was like a year or two later, but we still taking off our shoes. They've moved on. They've moved on. Terrorism is evolving. And bioterrorism was something that we were talking about immediately after. So how is it that 20 years later, we haven't hired hackers that are better than their hackers? That's what we're supposed to be. Our government hires hackers to outthink they hackers. So we're failing in this hacking game, clearly, because
so I don't know if we're failing in the hacking game because I'm sure there's some hacks happening. Okay. Now I was
fair. Let me not say we're failing. Here's a better way.
We're failing in the security game.
Here's a better way of saying.
I'm gonna tell you why. You go ahead. I'm gonna tell you why in a second.
We have a terrible infrastructure in the United States of America. Terrible. We just saw Texas almost freeze to death over this past winter. And we saw how bad their grid and infrastructure is. Some of them same folks, Ted Cruz from Texas, who had criticized the infrastructure in California. President Barack Obama had an infrastructure package. This last dude just said, F the infrastructure. He wouldn't even worry about it. And then now Biden is talking about another infrastructure package. Our infrastructure is weakened, very weakened. And the fact that we still have these archaic measures that we're taking because, again, people have moved on from the airplanes. They've moved on from doing there's always going to be some fools, trying silly stuff on the airplanes. But what I'm saying is why it feels like we've been ill prepared when this should have been the next natural step to understand that our infrastructure is very weak, and that is and our points of weakness are what they're going to attack. And that's why the people paid their Bitcoin, because they know their stuff was whack and weak. I told y'all before when we started on this show, it was in a few years ago, we were talking about the elections here. And I said, these folks was talking about they were still using like Windows 7 or so. It was something ridiculous that is like, your operating systems for your computers been outdated for the last 8-9 years. So I'm not shocked that these hackings are taking place because we have so many points of weakness across our roadways, our electrical grids, our pipeline. Flint got good water yet? So we just have so many points of weakness that I just don't understand why it's like, oh, they're attacking the meat. Yes, because y'all like to eat all the meat. So they know, so.
All the meats.
All the meats.
Listen, okay.
The army has all the meats.
I'm going to drop in some of these comments. Denise says infrastructure in the U.S. was put in place by slaves. He has not been visited since. Infrastructure has only had Band-Aids added since then. They are going after our food supply, water supply, etc. I think Katrina said, "Who says they haven't? Says we haven't attacked back? I know we have, but I'm gonna tell y'all something about that. You can't believe nothing these days, honey. I believe it because I see the evidence of it. We are failing in both the securing game as well as the hacking game and the attack side. Let's see what else." We are not evolving like they are. Absolutely. Girl, the IT system was hacked at my job 2 months ago. A hot mess. And I guarantee you, if you work anywhere, it's being hacked every day.
By the way, I would like to tell you that my mortgage provider was also hacked. However, I still owe a mortgage.
That part.
So that don't change nothing.
They ain't erased nothing that's meaningful. Child. 9/11 happened because they found the holes in our airline and navigation system. They also found the hole in, they were able to come and study right here in our country. They took their
engineering courses for sure.
They took their flight classes here in Florida, right up there in Pensacola. You know where Matt Gaetz represents. I digress. Our infrastructure is the same and more catastrophic if it becomes compromised. We got another comment here. The great author Mark Twain said, true fiction is derived from nonfiction. Y'all see all these movies doing things, invading countries. Did y'all see Jack Ryan first season? Yes, I did, girl. Amazon Prime, if y'all want to know. There's levels to the terrorists. We better be concerned of what we don't know. Right. Girl, Publix was out of wings yesterday. Jesus. Yes, he got to take it. So here's the thing. One of the reasons why, and so I decided to go back and watch a Bill Maher show because, I had put him off for a minute. Yeah. And one of the things Chris Matthews was on, because I guess he's coming back out of hiding after his allegations against him, since he kind of stepped away from his show and all that stuff. But one of the things he said is that, especially like a Russia, for instance, they don't have as many rich targets. We have a lot of rich targets because they're not all, a lot of these attacks, they're targeting private sector companies. This has to be a public-private situation, right? Because the private sector companies pay because they've been hacking corporate governments, they've been hacking states, they have been hacking trying to get into electric grids and all of this stuff. They've been doing that piece. Mm-hmm. But these corporations who then pay the ransom, it makes it harder for the government to even negotiate and fight back. But we have a lot of rich targets. Like I know Amazon is attacked every day. And actually I know for sure, like they say, all of us are attacked every day from a banking perspective. All the spam emails we get, those are people they're trying to attack. They're trying to get in the system. So we have to be really, really careful and conscientious, even in our phones with our kids, the things that they download. There's a lot of ransomware. That happened to my son a few years ago. And he was, Mom, I made a mistake. What was you watching? What was you looking at? What did you click on? And literally, they send you a message. They had taken a picture of his face from what he was looking at his phone and was like, you need to send money to this is what you need to do. And, I was like, okay, let me call Verizon. Let's get this handled. But that is what happens. And people pay because they're afraid of the consequences. Because it was like, we're the FBI. This ain't the FBI. Okay.
The FBI called me the other day, and I had to tell that man, I said, okay, well, let you talk to somebody who works in law enforcement. And then he was like, why? Are you trying to say that I can't have a conversation with you? No, I ain't trying to have a conversation with you. Then I got to get belligerent on the phone because stop playing with people on their cell phones.
Yes. That's right. He says, my daughter's computer was hacked via some ransomware that asked for money. I refused to pay out a principal. My daughter liked me a little less that day. I know that she did.
No, because y'all barking up the wrong tree.
Cynthia said here there was a guy through Wells Fargo that took 1 cent from all their bank accounts, arrested for stealing over $1 million. It can be done. It is happening. So I would say secure your devices, folks. Secure your phones, secure your computers, secure your tablets. Any any accounts that you log in, you're part of knowing about the Internet of Things, your Ring doorbells, your cars, because honey, they can hack into these cars. Our cars be driving down the highway, and all of our cars have satellites, and all of our cars have these electronic systems in them, honey. They could hack into all our cars and cause some major catastrophe. Like the words of Mystical. What do you say, sister?
Beware.
Beware. Oh, let's get on.
He also said danger.
He said danger. That's what he said. He didn't say like that. He said danger.
He also said shake it fast and watch yourself.
And he said, if you looking for me,
here I go. But yeah, no. So you're right. We do need to take cybersecurity very seriously. And you and I were talking the other day. We always talk about the fact that we give our privacy rights away all the time. We get contracts. I was talking to
girl.
Yeah, I was talking to my parents about. They were like, "Well, this insurance policy changed." I said, "Yeah, they probably emailed you the updates to your policy, but we don't be reading through all those contracts. We just be clicking yes and whatever." And so. We all have to be as vigilant as possible. I mean, somebody just sent me a Facebook message, and they always, in Messenger, "Hey, how are you?" I know it's fake, because half of the people I talk to don't start talking to me like, "Hey, how are you?" And so one person, I tested them. I asked them what their real first name was, and they said whatever the name was on the actual person's page. I was like, "That ain't your name, so stop playing on people's stuff." And then I blocked it.
Yes. Blocker. Y'all better get into that block. I be blocking numbers all the time. Block.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. This next topic is really sad, especially in light of all the shootings that are taking place. I mean, I was like, okay, y'all was inside for 18 months, whatever it was. We was inside, like, really, and y'all won't come out just shoot any and everything. Like, how did you even have time to start a beef? You was in the damn house. I don't even understand what's going on.
Right.
But recently, California, a judge in California, he overturned California's assault weapons ban. And he had the audacity to compare in his ruling, in his statement, that the assault weapons, some of these weapons, because A, they're so popular, they can't be that bad. And then B, an AR-15 is like a Swiss Army knife. Child, listen. When you have more guns than people, it's about 330 million people who live in the United States. That's men, women, and children alike. 330 million. We have about 150 million adults in our population. When you have double the number of guns, then or it might even be triple at this point. I don't know, because they keep manufacturing them.
Right.
Why? When you got more weapons than you have people, and then let's just say assault, the whole assault weapon thing, and large clips. This ain't about no Second Amendment. This ain't about no musket firing. This ain't about protecting in a well-organized militia, as the Second Amendment states, because people don't know what the hell the Second Amendment say. They don't even know what the hell the First Amendment say. They don't even know what the damn Constitution say. Can y'all tell me the Bill of Rights and the preamble? Can y'all say something to me, please?
Right.
They don't know. They just be talking. But when we have more guns than we have people, we need to really ask ourselves, what are we afraid of? What you really scared of? And what are you really protecting? Because you can't tell me you protecting. I mean, and like I said, most people have so much junk in their garage, they can't even put their most valuable possession in their vehicle. They can't even park their vehicle in the garage because they got junk in the garage. So what are you really trying to protect? I don't know. So Cynthia says, why regular people need assault weapons? Child, I don't know. And then she also says they act like a scene from Heat where a team is what robs houses or assaults people. Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll say. It's called an assault weapon. So
hold on one second before you go there. Actually, if we want to really talk, because some of them are they are rifles that have been altered to fire multiple rounds. They are regular rifles that have been altered to mimic military weapons, things that you use on the battlefield. But as you said, the fight is changing. It's on the computer now. Anyway, go ahead, sister.
No, I was just saying, and it's an assault weapon. Operative word being assault. That has absolutely nothing to do with the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment is not about assaulting people or assaulting things, but I'm assuming you're assaulting people, because you certainly can't use that to go hunting. To make the comparison to a Swiss Army knife, now, I know I ain't the most, I don't use Swiss Army knives, but if I recall, they have little clippers and little scissors and all kind of little.
You can do a manicure, you can get a bottle of wine, you can open a wine, you can open
can't do none of that with an assault rifle. You can't file your nails. You can't clip your toes.
I guess you could crack open a bottle of wine.
No, you ain't gonna crack it open. It's gonna explode. And so I'm just like, the comparison is so irresponsible. That is so irresponsible. And you're a judge.
And it's intellectually dishonest. It's just dishonest. It's just a lie. And it's lazy. Now, if you have a principled argument of why the law is not good or not valid or flawed, then certainly type that up. But then the fact you took the time to type that up and make that comparison, your trifling behind shouldn't even be a federal judge.
You should
that, because that is so lazy and intellectually dishonest. And it's sad that we accept it. Right. We accept this tomfoolery.
And the question is, also it was stated, what was it, that it was, hold on, let me get the right words, failed experiment. He called it a failed experiment. Well, if it were a failed experiment, typically with failed experiments, you have data to support the failure, just like you have data to support the success. If you all remember back to your science classes, right? You did a science experiment, you did a project, you came up with a hypothesis, you determined what your hypothesis was, and you tested the hypothesis. And then the data that you got back either supported or refuted your hypothesis, and then you drew your conclusion. Bruh, if it's a failed experiment, what is the data that supports the failure of the experiment? Just saying, and
how do you not go back to the hypothesis about, okay, then we have to approach this a different way, but having AR-15 and Swiss Army knives ain't the answer. Because they just had another mass. They have had mass shootings every day. Miami blowing up right now, but in California recently they had
in San Jose, I believe it was.
Yeah, in San Jose, where he went in and shot the people in the workplace. I mean, let the insanity, child. Rosalind said they have these assault weapons, but not the enhanced security to protect the funds in your bank account. How about that? Make it make sense. If it's failed, then how to make it better? Let's work on that. Exactly. How do we make this better? And the answer is most definitely not like just adding, and we just gonna have more guns, more guns. That's usually all the answer they have is let's just have more. And it's like, stop it, stop the lies, please.
But to your point, you're adding more guns. So even in your daily life, what is your hypothesis? Because I'll tell you a story about one of my someone that I know. A coworker of mine is very, very, very tech savvy. We were having a conversation, and so he's like rigged up his whole house, right? And he says his wife makes this joke that basically, if he dies, she's not even gonna know how to get out of the house, right? Because he's got his whole house smart, right? And I'm just like, so then he was telling me, like last year, he had taken some time off and he had taken up learning guns and shooting and all of that stuff. And I was like, well, I mean, who can get in your house? Like, your house is so rigged up. There is nobody who can break into your house. So this gun hobby of yours, like what in the same question, like who y'all expect to come and do something? Your wife can't even figure out how to get outside. So how's somebody gonna get inside? So back to your question about who are we so afraid of? I have absolutely no, I know who we're afraid of. And again, this boogeyman that does not exist. The boogeyman that there has never, again, there has been no evidence of you needing assault rifles to protect yourself or your family.
And sure not for hunting.
And yes, and it's definitely not for hunting. Clearly, y'all go and get your meat from the grocery store, and that's why the people attacking the meat supply. So you're not going out there hunting your own food. So what do you need these guns for in the first place? And I know some people just enjoy the recreation of going to, shooting ranges or what have you. But we as a nation, in my opinion, have to look at ourselves, the number of guns we own, our crime rate, our murder rate, and compare it to other quote unquote developed countries, and then ask ourselves, are we possibly doing some things wrong? That's what I would say.
Absolutely. I would say the same thing, child. It's a mess out here in these streets. It's a hot, filthy, stinking, flaming Cheetos mess out in these streets.
But maybe we just maybe everybody who is in a marginalized group needs to just go out and get 1, 2, 3, 5 guns, and then we'll see if these laws change.
How about that? Well, we got a few more comments, and then we're going to transition on into our next hot topic. It says, we live in a country where the terrorists landed with guns and took by force. It is a taught generational behavior that affects our communities, not only with their actions, but the action of those they use to bring it into our communities. Another comment says, maybe we should start because they will probably make a real change in the laws, honey. It'll come fast. I'm watching and listening, but let me sidebar long enough to say, y'all got that hair popping tonight. Well, thank you, sis. Girl.
Thank you.
We tried. I did a little twist out action, hadn't done that in a little while. So thank you. Also, sensationalism of these types of guns in the media. It's in the media, it's in the TV, it's in popular television.
Well, the little girl down there, the 12 and 14-year-old in Miami, when she said it was Grand Theft Auto, she was trying to feel sorry. She's alive, right?
The 2 in Deltona, Florida. That's up the road from here.
The 2 little foster kids. Yeah,
the foster kids. Yeah, because they decide to get where they get AKs from.
They broke into the people's houses who had assault rifles. But she wanted to do it like GTA, Grand Theft Auto. I said, well, listen, I hate to sound like this, but I was like, they got to be some white kids because the police officer.
They are.
Right, because the police officer was like, gosh, don't make me do this. Please don't make. Like, I was like, dude, so much commentary. We don't get that. We don't get all this empathy.
Tamir Rice was shot within a matter of seconds as a 12-year-old playing with a pellet gun in an open carry state. These kids were inside
a toy gun.
AK, that's what I said, the little pellet gun, toy gun. These kids was in a house shooting AK-47s at the police in right up the road here in Volusia County. And they were taken without incident, they
shot her, but
nonetheless, he was paid to do it. Like,
right. And she was pointing at them like, I'm about to take y'all out, because this is how they do it on Grand Theft Auto. I was like, man, if we could just get that same level of compassion and consideration. But I'll leave that alone.
If was a fifth. So let's talk about he who shall not be named, and we shall not name him tonight. Y'all know it says, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. He who shall not be named is added again in the news. Speaking in North Carolina, lying to folks some more, talking about he gonna be reinstated in August. And then we got Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, who's supposed to be Democrats, who is doing the bidding of the Republicans, who like, oh, well, we're not going to bring forth this, we're not going to support the Voting Rights Act. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all better be on your, like we said, danger. There's some danger out here in these streets in this governmental process. And y'all might have not seen them coming the first time, but you should see them coming this time. Don't be no fool. That's all I got to say about he who shall not be named. I don't know about you, sister. What you say?
So we started off talking about Naomi and the media, right? And her not wanting to have conversations with them because of the way that they tend to treat Black athletes. And I feel like the first time this fool was elected, it was largely in part because of the media. And so I'm questioning right now, in the year of our Lord 2021, why is the media even talking about the fellow?
Who?
Why are you bringing light to the fact that he claims he's going to be reinstated? Y'all know it ain't going to happen, so why are we talking about it? Why are we bringing light to the fact that he claims he's running again? Because if you reinstated, then that would be your second term. So you wouldn't be able to run again anyway. So why are we even having these stupid conversations? And why is the media continuing to perpetuate? Like, we learned nothing.
Nothing.
In 2020, we've learned nothing. Stop giving idiots
a
platform. He was banned from social media for those people who are now going to, and then for Facebook to say he's going to be allowed to come back right before the 2024 election. Why? 2022, excuse me, election. Why? Wait, no, 2024. I thought it was
but they start because the midterms are next year. The midterms.
But he wouldn't be ready to, no, keep him off. He needs no more platform. If y'all want to get together, like, media companies are privately owned, and I know that the media is there's freedom of the press, and we're supposed to be able to, but let the people who support him, like the Fox,
build their own shit. Build your own. I thought Parler was the place. Why are you worried about Facebook and Twitter? If Parler is your place, go on over there.
Go to Parler. Go to that other OAN, ONE, whatever that other.
I mean, but again, y'all. Ooh, child. Let me see. Well, I'm just gonna put the comments up there because he will not be named, honey. Go ahead. Keep it safe. Keep talking.
I'm frustrated with the media again, because I feel like, again, we give him this platform, and for what? Again,
oxygen to fuel.
Right. So
and you know why? I'm gonna tell you why. It's the same reason why the hackers are attacking these private companies. Where the money? What our boy name in Baton Rouge? What's his name? What's his
Gary
name?
Chambers.
No.
Oh,
Where?
you talking about rally where the money resides?
Where the money resides. That's the problem. So we have to stop supporting these media conglomerates and these corporations who perpetuate this foolishness, because it is about dollars and cents, ad dollars. It's about money that is going to these things. So stop it.
But okay, CNN, we're clear that you are more quote unquote left leaning. So the vast majority of his supporters are not watching your network anyway. So why are you taking that money? Don't take that money. You know, let him go over to Fox News, because you know he threw Fox to the side for these other faux networks, but they don't have the distribution that Fox has. So go on over to Fox. Let them take that ad money. Let them keep on playing out the stupidity. But for the rest of these media companies, sometimes people need to have a level of integrity, and they just need to say, no, we're not supporting your. He has continued to perpetuate this lie that this election was stolen. And we know it was not. So why even continue? Like CNN tripped me out, because he keeps saying that the GOP keeps furthering the lies, gaslighting America. If you know they're gaslighting America, why are you talking about them gaslighting America? If you know they whitewashing history, why are you talking about whitewashing this insurrection that took place on January 6th, whatever, 5th, whatever it was? I don't even remember now, because they got 6. Why are you then talking about it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I will say this to you all. This is where your voice matters, and you speak out with your dollars. You speak out with the companies you support, and you let your voice be heard, because this tomfoolery has to stop. Now we're going to talk about this next situation, which is related to this situation. Because see, it started over there in Arizona with Arizona just don't want to be great. Anyway, so when I was there visiting you over a month ago, and they started this recount, even though after they had already had recounts and certified the election, they started another recount for this random ninja group that decides, somebody just created an LLC and decides to.
The Republicans wanted another, the Republicans. Let me not say it like that. The Arizona GOP wanted to conduct another audit.
One more audit.
Of the Maricopa County.
Of just Maricopa County. Correct. And so here we go. Y'all know Maricopa is where Phoenix is. So here we go. When I was there, we were testing the paper, because to see if they had fragments of bamboo, because the paper, if those ballots came over from China or some Asian country. So we were testing for fragments of bamboo. Yes. Now we got the Italy Gate, and
Italy Gate is not just in Arizona.
I know Italy Gate is the whole country. Like, but the level of delusion and dysfunction, it just keeps deepening. But I thought bamboo, we couldn't get crazier than the Bamboo Gate, because I was like, well, people can buy recycled paper. That's one thing, but like, really, y'all, how y'all testing for bamboo on the ballots? I don't even know what you're using to you taking fiber, like you like doing like this and scraping off some of the fiber and then go and put it in the lab. Like, how you taking fibers off of a piece of paper to go test it about where it can? Like, I don't even know this level of insanity and foolery. But now we got Italy Gate. I'm gonna let you tell the people what the Italy Gate is about. I dropped the link in there. Mark Meadows.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Mark Meadows and
former chief of staff to
the he who shall not be named wanted, yes, former chief of staff wanted the DOJ to investigate apparently Italian satellites, or I don't know if it's the Italian government who was using satellites with remote controls. I don't know. Anyway, the satellites was changing the votes from him to Biden. I don't know.
But we have paper ballots. So if satellites was changing it, but you have papers that you count because you have paper backup, how they changing the paper?
Listen, I don't know, because most of the people brought the ones I saw was coming in with their stuff already filled out, and they was just dropping it into the situation. I'm the one who fills it out and then still goes through the line, because I just feel like I want to fill out the bubbles right there and put it in the machine myself, and get my little sticker. I don't know. What I do know is it's really sad that we can believe in Italy Gate. It's really sad that we can believe that I don't know, the paper was imported from China. China flew in a whole bunch of fake ballots, and you thought you were going to test for fragments of bamboo. It's really sad. Like, that's easy to believe, but it's impossible to believe that your boy just lost. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand it. So
they were so strategic with it. They flew in ballots that only had Biden, but then had these fools in Congress that but they chose him, and they didn't vote for the person who was competing against Marjorie Taylor Greene. Come on, man.
Right.
Stop it. If we trying to stop some fools, we would be stopping all the fools, huh?
Well, yes. If we wanted to do some wide scale fraud, I don't know. I don't know what other people were told, but I know growing up, my dad would always say, if you gonna rob a bank, you need to rob it for a whole lot of money, because you're gonna get the same jail time for $2 or $2 million. So,
you might as well go big.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, go big. I mean, why would you stop at like, oh, I'm gonna just change the presidency, but I'm gonna leave all the mother fools? Like, we've already seen the outcome of that, right? Didn't we have Barack Obama in office who was blocked by all his moves were blocked because of Congress? So I don't know why anybody would ever do that. I don't know how Mitch McConnell would have won again. But he's not in the state of Arizona, so maybe just the bamboo was happening in Arizona. Maybe some other stuff was happening in them other states.
Because Italy was happening all over the world, all over the country. Even though they were already on lockdown from COVID, they was doing that with us.
And even though we're clear that the people who are hacking us are Russia, and we're very clear about the fact that the family that shall not be named has deep Russian ties and
deep China ties.
So if anybody would have benefited from hacking and tomfoolery, it would have been them. So I don't know. Somebody, you got to ask somebody, one of these people, these QAnon folks who think all this stuff makes sense, because it doesn't make sense to me, and I can't help you.
Okay. Well,
I shouldn't have said that word, because now they're going to be trying to jump all up on here with some foolery.
Like you said, there are levels to this thing. How when people say there's level to this, there's level to this ignorance. Yes, they've gone and lost their mind. How much money are they spending on this time foolery? Well,
I don't know, but it makes me very upset, because I'm going to say some stuff that's going to anger some people, but I don't care. You have people who will not invest in stem cell research because they'll say that it's somehow tied to abortion and they're pro-life, and so thus they don't want their tax dollars to be spent with Planned Parenthood. Like, they'll put all that together. Well, guess what? want my tax dollars spent on this, because they already had audits. They had actually 3 other audits, and the outcome was the same. And so I don't want my tax dollars spent on this. But I guess I don't have a choice. And I don't know what you do. I don't even know what you do in this situation, because it's already been proven. Like this last process has been so riddled with problems. First they started off, they couldn't even count fast enough. So it was like they had only counted like 150 ballots in, like, I forgot how what it was, but the person was like, at this rate, it's gonna take them 7,000 days to get it done. Now they had to stop and supposedly secure all the stuff because they had graduations happening. Like, right. And then again, now we got Bamboo Gate and Italy Gate. I'm like, y'all wasting my time, my energy, and my money. And I don't like none of it.
I don't like none of it either. But
but they're gonna do all this, and I am clear that all this voter suppression and all of these lies that they're peddling and laws that they're going to backfire.
Absolutely. It's gonna backfire, because always, here's the thing, and as I am going through the book Caste, so if you haven't read or listened on Audible or whatever listening device you use to Caste by Isabel Wilkerson, you should definitely take a read, take a listen, because that's the thing. Whatever you do to hurt the subordinate caste or the marginalized group, it always comes back to harm you twice, 3 times, quadruple times worse. So you might want to think about what you're doing. Well, I don't know about you. Is there any other hot topics you want to talk about? I know this is something you're looking forward to. I didn't even tell you I was going to drop this in here in the hot topics. Is that the Mary J. Blige documentary? Huh?
You already know.
You ready for it, sister? It's coming soon.
Absolutely. I am so, y'all know I love me some Mary. And folks be trying to talk about Mary can't sing, Mary can't dance. Well, Mary has made a fabulous career out of not singing and not dancing, and I ain't mad at it. And I look forward to hearing it. And, I don't know what network it's on, though. I just pray it ain't on Prime. Okay, amen. And not on Lifetime. Amen. No hateration, holleration, and dance reads a Lifetime, but sometimes y'all don't really get our stories like you need. And Mary got too many hairstyles and things like that. Y'all, I don't want y'all messing stuff up. But yes, I love me some Mary. Come on, MJB. Let's come on.
One of the producers, in addition to, of course, Sean Puffy Combs and Mary J. Blige herself, I think one of the producers of this project is Mr. Quincy Jones. And so if it even matches the level of the Quincy Jones documentary that's on Netflix, why are you looking down? What you looking down?
I'm sorry.
You've been down the whole
You said it, Mary, because
you been down the whole time, girl.
No, I have not.
But
Quincy Jones, if it matches his level of his documentary,
if it matches the level of his documentary, it is going to be fire. So I say, I just want to shout out to MJB for being the soundtrack of my youth. In the 90s, I had What's the 411, and My Life is one of my favorites of all time, even though she said that was at the darkest time in her life. But it sure got me through some things, just listening to it and meditating on the words, because I'm a lyrics person. So shout out for a storied career, and I can't wait to see it.
Exactly.
I wait to see it. So that's our evening of hot topics, folks. I hope that you have enjoyed tuning in with us tonight on Hey Sister. We will be, as we said, taking somewhat of a hiatus. We'll come periodically to you over the summer. but maybe we'll come together next week as we'll be in the same place. Got a shout out to the Thibodeauville film crew. So Sister and her production team, they are going down to our hometown. And
I mean, I don't know that we really wanted to announce all that. But
listen, I'm going to say, go look up Thibodeauville Film. They're on all social media platforms. It's Thibodeauville Film. And it's Race, Riot, and Resilience. It's the story of race, riot, and resilience.
Thibodeauville, the story of the Thibodeau massacre, race, riot, and resilience.
There you go. There's so many massacres that occurred in this country, and Tulsa has recently been getting its due. And Tom Hanks was like, y'all need to go learn about this Tulsa. Well, truth is, you need to learn about all these massacres. Right here in Florida, a few miles up the road from me, the Ocoee Massacre, because, you know, in 1920, people wanted to vote, and they were killed because they went and they had the audacity to cast a vote. Thibodeauville Film is going to tell a story about the Thibodeau Massacre, which is a labor dispute. And so check it out, support. Always looking for additional support, and just kudos to you, sister. I know this has been a labor of love, and so I want to get you some shout out there. So,
well, thank you, sister. It is a labor of love. We are just getting started. We have a long road ahead of us, but it's going to be an exciting road. And truth be told, and I say it jokingly, but we have been pretty reserved about our plans, only because unfortunately we do live in this precarious time where, you know, some folks don't want to talk about history. They don't want us to reveal these stories. We would rather hide behind the past instead of just talk through it, learn from it, and move and progress forward. So that's why, you know, it's like, okay, let's just be very, very sensitive to the fact that, you know, everybody is not going to be as excited for us as you are and the folks who support Hey Sister. So, but I definitely appreciate it and look forward to, when we've made more progress on it, having the entire crew on Hey Sister.
Absolutely. Well, you can go watch the promo ad. Go to ThibodeauvilleFilm.com. Y'all go support. And let's get this story. And as Felicia said, let's get all of our stories told. We are definitely a resilient people. And let's get these stories told. They deserve to be told. And they deserve to become part of the American lexicon as we just talk about the story of this country. So I just want to say that. And with that, we're going to sign off tonight for Hey Sister. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your continued support. And we say good night, everybody.